Hi, and welcome to another show of Inspirational Journeys. Today, I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce you to my next guest. She's a wonderful woman and athlete, and her journey is remarkable. Meet Marisa Boasa. As you can see, she's a devoted runner and has been all her life. What you would not realize at a first glance is that she suffers from one of the most aggressive forms of multiple sclerosis. Yet her passion for running and stay active are the key drivers behind her desire to keep mobile. I had the privilege to meet Marisa in one of her physical trainings. Through a series of well-thought-out exercises, Marisa was able to show me how she retrains her body to send signal to her muscles so that they may trigger constant mobility. Marisa is a pioneer in her own right as she defies her multiple sclerosis prognosis with the help of her fitness coach and doctor. Marisa has many goals, such as running few marathons across the country. In her runner's mentality, she plans to continue pounding the pavement, strongly moving forward as she becomes an inspiration to other MS sufferers or anyone with mobility issues. In a matter of few seconds, she captured my whole attention and inspired me to look beyond my own hip limitations and join her cause to fight for mobility. Marisa.
Marisol.
I'm so thankful for having you here today.
Today.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, there's so much to know about Marisa. First of all, you're Puertorriqueña.
Sí, yo soy puertorriqueña.
And I'm so glad that we have a lot of things in common.
And
we want to know, who is Marisa Boasa?
I am just someone that is too stubborn to quit. And wants to help other people continue in their fight. We're all battling something.
Yes.
It's important to not just bring awareness to what I'm struggling with, but to help people feel empowered. Sometimes someone limits themselves by a diagnosis. And the reason why I do what I do is I want people to be empowered to say, okay,
sure,
let's do something about it.
And Marisa, what is the condition? Can you, we know you have multiple sclerosis. Now there's different types of, or different forms of multiple sclerosis. Can you give us more details as to what's the one that you're suffering from?
So mine is very progressive. It's in my brain, it's in my spine, it's impairing my right vision. I'm suffering from foot drop to the point where I need to wear AFOs to walk and run. And that, unfortunately, is a struggle that I battle every day, but it doesn't stop me.
I know.
No.
And what are the FOs?
So the AFOs are ankle-foot orthotics, and what I do when I wear them is they actually position my ankle in a way that it's strong. It doesn't allow it to waver, but then on top of it, the orthotic portion keeps the foot elevated so that I don't have that foot drop. Because when I wear traditional shoes, I can maybe last 30 minutes to an hour in them. With the AFOs, it allows me to walk and be mobile all day.
And when were you diagnosed?
I was officially diagnosed in August 21st, 2018, after 5 years of having a lot of mobility issues.
Okay, so what did you experience that made you believe that there was something wrong?
I went for a run, and I couldn't get up. I actually had to sit for about 30 minutes. My foot was completely numb. And I went to see a doctor and said, okay, I am trying to train for a marathon, and I can't get past a quarter of a mile. That's a problem. And then they did a series of tests, compartment syndrome tests, and all the way to the point where they did a brain MRI, and they noticed I had acute demyelination in my brain, which was showing the lesions. Lesions are scars. Scars are the sclerosis, multiple sclerosis. I had multiple scars in my brain.
And you were always a runner.
I was always a runner, always. But in the last few years, my mileage decreased to the point where I could barely run. And yeah.
Wow. And what were the thoughts that came to mind when you were diagnosed?
The first thing I said to the doctor was, okay, so can you remove those lesions? He's like, they're scars. I'm like, okay. Well, what can I do? Because I still want to run. And they actually told me about this runner who I'm now good friends with. And they said, well, she runs and she has MS. And then I ended up finding other community of runners that have MS or are battling a mobility issue. And I started feeling like, okay,
I can do this.
I can do this. And I said, well, I'm going to run then. And then started a funnel of physical therapy appointments, meeting with the Hanger Clinic, which is my orthotist, and getting fitted for my AFO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me more about the Hanger Clinic.
They're amazing, let's say that. Abby Downing happens to be just so helpful and ensuring that I have what I need. So, and then on top of it, I am one of their elite challenged athletes. So they support me when I go to events, even to the point where I have an MS walk coming up, and they got shirts for me for New York City, because I'm doing one in Connecticut and then the one in New York City. So what's so instrumental is that I have their support, and then in turn, people will stop me and say, what's that on your legs? What are you wearing? Oh, they're AFOs. I talked to a woman today. She said she's on her feet all day in her store, and she struggles to walk. Gave her the nearest Hanger Clinic, told her to pick up the phone and call them and work with her doctor to get a prescription for it.
Okay, so you're becoming a pioneer, a face to the new approach,
Yes.
the new treatment. You know, you and I had the opportunity to meet, and you showed me all the different exercises that you're doing to improve. And you mentioned to me that it was all about retraining the brain, so it would allow to send signals to your muscles for them to kind of understand that they're meant to do, you know, the movement.
Yes.
So talk to me more about how do you come about your exercise training? Is it something that you put together, or is anyone helping you?
No, because the training is like genius, so I know I didn't put it together. So Abby had a friend of hers that is also a physical therapist, and he is a triathlete himself, and he has athletes he coaches. And he puts together my 6-day-a-week program. The 7th day is normally a Pilates or it's stretching and relaxing, but those other 6 days, it's reprogramming the legs, you know, the foot strike on the bike. It's reprogramming in the pool. So now I don't have to worry about a foot drop in the pool, so the pool has me doing like an aqua jogging. That was that purple thing that I put around you. It's an aqua jogger device. And then you have the running. So each week I'm building my mileage up. But it takes a level of dedication. I don't get a rest day. I have to continue. If I want to keep those nerves alive and not have those legs go into full atrophy, I have to send triggers, because the nerves are alive in my leg, but they don't connect from brain to foot, which is why I have a foot drop. So by continuing to work them, I'm keeping them strong and building muscle.
Wow. So the desire to overcome the challenges of the condition is what is your main motivator, but there's anything else that keeps you going?
I think of others that might be battling an immobility issue and thinking how they might be me. You know, I didn't know of my friend, and I'll say her name, Cheryl Heil. I didn't know Cheryl. Now Cheryl's a dear friend of mine. I didn't know she was this trailblazer and ran these marathons. And I thought, how do I pay it forward? Why don't I help somebody else? It also lessens it, right? It makes it not about me. It makes it about helping other people.
And in that idea of helping others, I know you have the community group that you've created, Fight for Mobility.
Fight for Mobility.
What is it all about?
That's what it is. It's about when you have nothing left but to fight, you fight. You want to run, you fight for that run. You are having a hard time, maybe emotionally, and you don't want to get out of bed that morning. Fight, get up. And I started it because initially it was going to be one video. It was supposed to say, hi, I have MS, but I'm not letting it beat me down. It turned into a channel. And I'm very grateful to Jonathan for that. Jonathan is the backbone. Jonathan Nicholas is the backbone to Fight for Mobility. He's the cinematographer, editor. He, I think, makes me look somewhat good on camera. So I know he's a really great editor.
You look great.
He's a great editor. But that, to me, is so instrumental because it allows me to reach people on a global level. So YouTube channel, I've been able to talk to different ones around the country. Actually, I had somebody from London. Wow. I'm going to be doing a podcast with them through a mutual friend. But if I can share the level of don't allow it to stop you. I had a doctor in 2013 when I was falling a lot that told me just to give up running.
Wow.
I'm not the only person that's been told to give up something they love. But don't let it knock you down. Let it empower you.
And we need more of that because as you and I have been speaking, you know, everyone goes through different challenges, be it physical, emotional, and we have those moments where we want to give up. We don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. We think that our situation is the worst. We don't see a remedy to it, or we don't see it getting better. And I think we need more people like you that are not only empowering people through education and motivation, but are the face of hope, in ways that are, you know, cross boundaries. That's something that we've spoken a lot on this program, on other interviews, and is how people get together in a community of supporters when, you know, there's pain and there's challenges, yet again, you know, they are just lifted because of the amount of people that are willing to get together and help. And I know you have two great supporters in your life.
I do.
That have done a lot for you. Can you talk more about them?
So are we talking about Coach Ken? Because I don't know what to do without Coach Ken. Coach Ken is amazing. Let's just talk about that. He's been so instrumental to helping me. I don't know that I would be at the mileage that I'm at today without his help.
Yes.
And that's huge. That's so huge to me. I have a village of supporters. So I'm trying to think of the second one because there's so many that have been a part of this. My doctor. Let's not leave out him. Hold on. Rewind.
So there's more than two.
Dr. Wade. He is awesome. First of all, he was my neurologist when I got into a car accident, like 2004. And we came full circle. He's now my MS neurologist. He specializes in that. If I need a better brace, he'll make sure I get a better brace. If I need a medication to help me with my gait, he'll put me on that medication. He is so instrumental to the success. I mean, he even put me on the drug to hopefully put this into remission. I saw him just last week, and he just told me, you continue to do what you're doing. You continue that fight. Those people are critical. I feel like if you don't have that support system, you know,
it makes it harder.
It makes it so much harder. You know, I can smile because I have such an amazing.
And you're always smiling.
Yeah, because I am blessed with a doctor and a coach, an amazing family, and amazing friends. You know, when I do my MS walk, I'm not alone. I have people that are going to be there, not just in Connecticut, but in New York City. Races that I have throughout the year, people will be there. Hey, I'm going to fly in, or I'm going to drive up an hour. I have a good friend of mine that's going to drive an hour to see me at my race, and that's huge. Those are the people that I am grateful for. Not everybody has that.
No, not everybody has it. And
No.
what about David?
Oh, well, he's the one that got me to cry in my first Fight for Mobility video, so I am not going to be crying again. Let's just get that off it. But yes, having a husband that supports me, you know, when I say to him, oh, by the way, I'm going to Florida to run a 15K, he's like, all right, go, you can do this, you know. Yes. Drives me to my infusion treatments. That's huge. It's critical. It's important to have that support system in the family.
Sure. And we're talking about motivation and empowerment. Now, I want to ask you, what has been the hardest part of the journey for you?
Not quitting. Every day I have to tell myself to keep going. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I don't ever allow that to keep me in bed. You know, that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. I'm at the gym by 4:35 a.m. And I'm doing everything I need to do to keep this mobility. And it's systematic. My phone goes off. The timer goes off. You know, it tells me, get up. But to sit here and say that every day is an easy day, no. It's just, I also can look back and say, you know what? 2 or 3 months ago, you could only get to like a quarter of a mile. Just yesterday, I hit 5. And I have so many more miles to go. And I'm just going to keep going forward.
Yes. Nice. You track your progress.
I do.
You do.
Yes. The coach has me track it in Training Peaks. But then I also write it down. I keep a little bit of a Fight for Mobility diary, a journal that I can look back to. And that's huge. You know, I can tell you the day that, and I wrote it, the day that I found out I had MS, there was a part of me that no longer exists. And that's the person that goes, when I did this, I was fast. When I did that, I had to finally say, okay, you're not that person. You can't judge what you do today from your yesterday. And you have to. In order to succeed and move forward, you can't look in the past.
Other than physical, how has the MS changed you as a person?
You have to struggle to have empathy. You can sympathize with someone, but until you're in that, until you're battling something, I mean, this is a lifelong battle. You know, there's no cure today for it. It changes you. I had someone message me, and I said to them, I don't remember that. You know, they were worried about something, and I'm like, I don't remember that, because the things I remember now and I hold on to are just positive. You know, so the things that would upset me then, they don't upset me anymore. Doesn't mean I don't get upset. It just means I value my time, and I just don't get upset about silly things. It's just not worth it.
They're not important.
They're not important. You know, in Spanish, no me importa, right? You don't care about it. Let it go. So,
Yes, because you're focused. You have more things, more important things to worry about, and you are, you know, why worry? You know, and it also takes away the energy. When one is upset and stressed out, it takes away the energy that you need to get better.
Worry is wasted energy. And I just kind of go.
So how is your day? Talk to me about, just give me an idea when you wake up in the morning. How is your routine? What do you do?
I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is take my MS medicine that I have to take. And I go to the gym, come home, go to work. And then depending on what I need to do that evening, if I have to go back to the gym because maybe I didn't finish one of the 3 hours of my workout, then I go back. But, you know, it's very systematic. But right now I have to be consistent. I have to consistently get up, take my medicine. You know, with the MS, it has affected certain things. So I used to get like hungry. And now I have a phone timer that says, okay, it's 8 o'clock, have breakfast. It's 12, have lunch. Because it did affect some of the sensories that I have, you know, even my vision. So it's changed a bit, but I just kind of go, okay, at 8 o'clock I eat breakfast. At 4 in the morning I go to the gym. You know, you just have to just keep your momentum every day.
Do you train with anyone?
Other than my coach, I do have other coaches. So when I do cross training, I do strength training at a local gym. I'll do that too because I need to keep my muscle mass is so critical. So yeah, on top of swimming and running and biking, I also do weight training because the number one things that affect runners and people with MS too is hips. So today I had an assessment and it was like, yeah, your hips are not strong enough. Okay, we'll add the hip training in there. So I believe at the end of the day, if somebody's battling a mobility issue, there is a way. There's a way, and you have to find the way that works best for you.
You have to ask questions. You and I talked about it, like asking questions to your doctors, being curious about what other alternatives you have, exposing yourself to new experiences and new, any help that can allow you to move through your circumstances.
Well, and also it's important to try to be a part of the community. So I have the National MS Society. I am on the committee. I met a good friend at the MS Center. He told me about the National Institute of Health clinic. Picked up the phone and said, hi, I have MS. Sent them all of my paperwork and they said, we want to see you. If you take the disease and you isolate yourself, you're never going to find the answers you need. It's so important to network and communicate and talk to other people, and now I have an opportunity possibly to get a medication that might only help with my MS. So again, it's just ask questions. Don't just say, okay, here's your deed. This is what you have. Go in a corner. Ask. Don't be afraid to ask.
So you're not being defined by your condition. No. You are crossing boundaries. You're pushing yourself into unknown areas, but yet again, I'm sure you're going to be successful because you have an attitude that it is proven that the way you confront your difficult situations has great influence as to their outcome. And just by knowing you for a short while, I can see through, you have a sense of you that is peaceful and is very driven. It shows in your eyes.
Thanks.
And I'm sure that has a lot to do as to how your body is responding to everything that you're giving to it.
It's so important. I believe the body will do what the mind wants. MS does not mean stop, and I've said it multiple times. It has to deal with me. MS has to deal with me. It is not the other way around, and I believe if you have that positive mindset, and I continue to do what I'm doing, the body will acclimate to what the mind wants.
And you're very positive. Now I wanted to ask you, and hope is not an uncomfortable situation, but what is it that you most fear?
Not crossing my finish line. And I say that's just not going to happen. But the finish line, when I'm working out, I envision myself crossing the finish line. And I do it enough times that it keeps me not allowing the fear to overtake me.
And I know you're going to make it.
Yes.
I just know.
Yes.
And what is next for Fighting for Mobility?
Oh, we want to reach out to more people. We want to try to bring others as a part of the community to tell their story. And again, it doesn't have to be somebody with MS.
Yes.
Like me, anyone that's battling something. We do have someone that we're going to be talking to shortly. She nearly lost her legs.
Wow.
And had a surgery, and she kept them, and now she does triathlons. And I feel like at the end of the day, you need people to have that same level of, I was told I couldn't do this, and she was told she couldn't run again. I'm like, oh, that's like me. You can't run. Just trying to bring more people into the community, but we have upcoming videos that are talking about how the community came together to help me raise money for MS
I
Walk.
can't wait to see that.
Yeah, fitness was huge. I don't bake cookies, so we had to do a fitness video.
And reinventing oneself and transforming into some other ways. It's so good. It feels good. It is nerve-wracking at times, but it feels good.
Well, doing exactly what you're doing. You're paying it forward. By having me on your show, you're paying it forward. And it makes you feel good when you do that. Because it takes yourself out of it. You know, we should be more selfless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're very grateful. Where does that come from?
Mi madre. That's my mother. My mother is a wonderful woman and such a kind heart. You know, I mean, that I can say I got from her. And my dad. My dad was a beautiful man. And, you know, he used to have my cousins come from the city and say, you're giving up your room for the week. You know, they can stay in your room. I'm like, okay. I mean, I loved it. I was like, I get my cousins for the week. I think having those people in my life at a young age to show me what it meant to give back is what helps me today to not focus on my own disease, but rather help other people battle theirs.
Gratefulness is a great thing, and
is
being appreciative of the blessings and the opportunities that one has had to be better, and you know, find health and find support system, and you know, it just makes us a better people, and that's what's all about. We're all looking for happiness, and the way to go is just becoming the better version of yourself.
Well, and it's true. If you reap what you sow, right? So if you sow only good deeds, you'll get good deeds in return. Doesn't mean if something bad happens that you did something wrong. That's just life.
Exactly.
That's just life. But the more good you do, the better you're going to benefit, because now you're going to add those people into your life.
Sure. There's so much to talk about.
Yes.
And I just hope that we can make it happen again.
Yes.
We want to see your journey. We want to know about your races and how it went. So keep me posted. Everything that you come up with.
Yes.
I want to be a part of it if I can.
Yes. I would love to have you there.
Yes.
It's important to, I mean, I said this to you, I would not have met you if I didn't have MS, right? The MS isn't necessarily a bad thing, because now I have more people that I can truly say I'm grateful to have met and have a part of my community.
Yeah. So you promise me you'll be back.
Oh, yes. We've got more to talk about. I will be back, but thank you for having me today. I'll be back, though. If you want me back, I'm coming back.
Thank you so much, Marisa. You're such a uplifting soul. I can say that I love you. Thank you so much.
Te amo también.
As you were able to witness on this interview, Marisa Boasa is no ordinary woman. She's the icon of what true empowerment and human ultimate expression looks like. Not once did I get the sense from Marisa that she doubts the capacity of her brain and body to transform. She's certainly beating the odds and being the high-power motor behind several medical efforts to find the causes of MS and slow its progression. She's at the center of the community group Fight for Mobility, and she's bringing the village with her, as she creatively describes it. Fight for Mobility's agenda is to help educate and provide support not only to those affected by MS, but by other forms of mobility difficulties. Let us applaud Marisa's calling and be inspired by her. If you would like to learn more about Marisa and her support group, subscribe to the Fight for Mobility YouTube channel. And if you have a story that is inspiring, feel free to share it with us, sending us an email through cnsonproductions@gmail.com. And until next show, as always, make your journey worthwhile.